But we also had students there adding their voice, parents adding their voice, community members adding their voice, university partners adding their voice to create this future. Hello, this is Dr. Jeff, and I am headed out to Cal State Fullerton right now for my last class for my educational leadership class. There's been an assignment that they've been working on. It's one of the big 5 signature assignments that they do for this course. And the topic is on communities of practice and leading communities of practice. So in order to better understand that, it's kind of like leading a task force or group based on a topic that they're passionate about. So it could be like improving reading levels, or it could be implementing a PBIS program, or it could be lowering discipline rates in a particular area. It could be improving an instructional practice related to writing, and so forth. So it being the last day today, I think it's a good opportunity, and I recommend these opportunities regularly to reflect, to have a Selah moment where you pause and reflect and think. It could be on kind of celebrating the past as you think about the future, that kind of thing. So anyways, today I have assigned a special activity. It's called a futures protocol. I first had a chance to experience this futures protocol actually at my school site in my district. Many of the schools in my district had an opportunity to do this. It was called a revisioning. Oftentimes when you think about a vision or mission of your organization, how many people know the vision and the mission statement? Hopefully many people do. Many people do. They resonate with it. They align with it. But oftentimes, folks are not familiar with the vision and mission. So how do you create an opportunity for for not just students, but all stakeholders to really connect with the vision and mission, right? So they had a revisioning process, and on this revisioning day, something happened that I wish we had more of in schools. And that was, bringing in multiple stakeholders. So oftentimes, sometimes it could be just the school leadership team making decisions. But on this day of revisioning, we had, of course, teachers, administration, counseling, but we also had students there adding their voice, parents adding their voice, community members adding their voice, university partners adding their voice to create this future and to vision cast for the future through this futures protocol, right? So there are many activities, but the one that I'm kind of honing in on is the specific futures protocol itself, where you envision what things would look like 5 years from now, if everything just went amazing in 5 years. So so it's 2021 now, let's say December 2021. Already December. Happy December, everybody, at the time of this recording of this video. So imagine 5 years from now, that would be December 2026, right? Almost 2027. So if everything went well, what would that look like? What would it look like? What would it feel like? What would you be seeing in that particular group that you're a part of after 5 years? And this kind of made me reflect on the California democracy that I've been a part of, the civic learning and engagement. Just the other night, I was at the Golden Bell Awards, where we were celebrating our Civic Learning and Leadership Institute. Once again, amazing outcomes. 16 California democracy schools, many seals of civic engagement, many civic learning awards, and so forth. But I went back 5 years, and I thought back 5 years, was it like that 5 years ago, however? And I remember having a lot of uncertainty at the time, not knowing exactly what the next steps might be. Excitement, right? But all those accolades, all those achievements had not been in place yet. A lot of the work had not been institutionalized yet in many of our schools. It was kind of an emerging idea, an emerging practice, a promising practice, right? And 5 years later now, it's definitely being recognized within our district, but outside our district as well. It's people in Orange County are looking at this, right? People in the state of California are looking at this. I think this could even be a potential nationwide model as well. But it wasn't like that 5 years ago, once again. So this future protocols opportunity is a real good opportunity. Kind of just dream big. And maybe even 5 years ago, I didn't dream big enough, because this program that I've had the privilege of being a part of has become much more bigger than I ever expected or ever dreamed, right? So I'm going to encourage my students today to kind of dream big as well with me. And just imagine if everything went really well in 5 years, what would that look like in their schools? What would that look like in their programs that perhaps they'll continue to lead for the next 5 years? So this community of practice or task force that they're running is not just one and done, but rather if they were to continue to do that good work, what would it look like in 5 years if things have gone really well? So that's what that first column is for, kind of reflecting on that. And then the next column talks about what was kind of happening, what was happening in at that present time, like what was happening in 2021, what was it like, right? And so they can kind of just say and share what things, how it was going in that particular area. So if it's discipline, like what was happening with discipline? If it's a particular instructional practice, what was happening? If I were sharing about 5 years ago, maybe the amount of civic learning engagement that was happening 5 years ago. The next column over is, I think, one of my favorite pieces. What did you do to get there? So we're imagining it's 2026, and what were the things that happened? What were the things that you did in order to, from 2001 on, to get to that ideal visualized vision and dream for that particular program or community of practice? So kind of thinking it through ahead, because sometimes we get so bogged down in the details, so like it's hard to see the big picture. For those of you who have been on my mountain biking mindfulness rides, you know that there's a lot of uphills, right? And I'll have to say, when I'm really struggling to get up the hill, what am I looking at? Am I looking at the grand view, all the beautiful things? Yeah, I mean, I try to, but at the same time, sometimes like I'm just looking at like one step ahead of me. I'm just barely moving 1 foot ahead of the next. I'm looking at the mud, right? And so, this is just an opportunity to kind of look up a little bit and see what the goal is. Sometimes when you know like how far you have to go or where it is that you're going, that could be really, really cool. And then the final column is also another column that I think people don't think about, and that is, could anything have been better, right? So you imagine a vision for your school. You imagine a vision for your school. You think about what it could be like in 5 years, and then as you kind of think through what it will take to get there, and you're maybe working with other people to kind of vision cast as well. Maybe there's some ideas that emerge from that, because oftentimes when you dialogue with another person, dialogue with other colleagues, it's not just everybody writing down what they know, but as they're sharing what they know, that creates new understandings, new meanings, new possibilities. And so I'm really appreciative actually of that final column, which allows folks to kind of consider ideas, options that they might not have considered otherwise or hadn't conceived before. And so with this, of course, it creates kind of an overall blueprint to kind of think about what the next step could look like. So I'm excited to see how this future protocols will work in class once again. I think sometimes just taking the next right step, this is definitely one of those tools that help with taking the next right step and maybe a couple of steps in the right direction. This is Dr. Jeff from Ed Family, signing out. We are at Cal State Fullerton, driving in. Titans reach higher.